Alright, so what's been on my mind, and just want to let everybody know, like, some things that I've been through. Growing up, moved around a lot, couldn't get close to people, made friends, lost friends, made friends, lost friends, and it just eventually just quit making friends so I didn't have to lose them. And then finally, we moved to Pendleton, Indiana. Not long after, my great grandpa committed suicide. About a year later, my oldest sister, she was killed in a car accident. Her boyfriend was driving recklessly, was high, and lost control. Her side of the car hit a telephone pole. She was killed instantly. He got a dislocated shoulder. Got to walk away. And I lost my sister forever. And on top of that, the effects that it had on my family, my parents, I basically lost them too. Like, yeah, here and there to be physically around, but emotionally, apparently, pretty much did whatever I wanted at 13. Caught my first felony, first one. At 16, got to a real bad car wreck. My buddy was driving. The Blazer rolled, and on the last roll, my head was halfway out of the truck, so it landed down on my head. Not sure if you can see that, but I got 16 staples in the back of my head, some stitches in the front. At 18, my girlfriend and I were doing drugs. It was her birthday. Obviously did them before then too, leading up to this point. But anyways, on her birthday, it was also Father's Day, we had gotten a morphine patch from somebody, and she really wanted to do it. I was against it, but I mean, I wanted to get high too, and she really wanted to do it. It was very convincing. So I was like, screw it, let's do it. Cut it in half. I made sure I was the one who got the bigger half, had more gel in it. My thought was, hey, if it's too much for somebody, I'd much rather it be me than her. She graduated high school. She was a cheerleader. She was beautiful. She was attending IUPUI for nursing. She had things going for her. And I thought, golly, how bad would it be if she was to pass away and me make it? Well, that night, we went to the bed, started, having physical interaction, and we're passing out because of the effects of the drugs. About 3:33 in the morning, I woke up, looked at the time, saw it was 3:33. She was on top of me, and we were still connected because of the physical activity. So I was like, hey, baby, hey, once you roll over next to me, let's just go to sleep. Well, when I rolled, I knew instantly something was wrong because there was no movement from her. I was trying to wake her up, get no response. Oh my God. Call 911. We're both butt naked. Call 911, trying CPR, working on it. Ambulance shows up. They run in with a stretcher. They go in and get her. I have to wait in the living room while they're doing that. I see them roll her out, covered in a blanket. And I'm like, hey, can I ride with you guys? And they were like, nope, you're going to find your own ride. I got left at home alone. Called everybody I knew. At that point, it was probably 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. Finally got a ride from, my buddy Seth Swank. And he dropped me off at the hospital. So I went in there. I was like, hey, I'm here to see Kimmy Carey. Where's she at? Blah, blah, blah. And they told me to go wait in the waiting room. So a few minutes later, I see this door open. Her dad come out. There's a doctor, a couple nurses. Well, I knew that room because when my oldest sister died, that was a room that they took my family into to let us know what happened, that she didn't make it, and gave us her belongings. So when I saw Kimmy's dad come out upset, I knew instantly, and my heart sank. Just unbelievable. Right after that, here comes the cop. It's like, hey, you gotta leave. And I was like, dude, I got a ride here and got dropped off. He's like, I'll escort you home. Took me home, dropped me off. When they came, the cops came, when the ambulance came, I was like, hey, whatever, this is what happened, this is what we did, blah, 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 blah. Gave him all the information, hoping it would help. Obviously, it didn't. But got home, and luckily, Seth and his mom came over to be with me when my parents, my family, were on their way from Kentucky. I showed up at the funeral, and I was told that I had to leave or I would be taken to jail, and that I better not step foot on the property during the funeral or I would go to jail for trespassing. Keep in mind, she was turning 21. So I don't understand how her dad or her parents were able to tell me I couldn't be there. Either way. So, 6 months before that, back up, I caught my third felony. Me and some buddies getting high. Kimmy was in Florida for Christmas. We're all getting messed up, ran out of drugs, ran out of money. They're like, hey, let's break into this closed gas station. I was like, dude, you guys are dumb. I ain't doing that. They're like, oh, just be a lookout for us, dude. Just stand across the street. You don't even have to go in. Oh, well, I don't have to go in? Cool, screw it. I had a feeling that wasn't going to work out, but when things aren't going right and you don't really give a shit or really care about things too deeply, you seem to say F it and just let things happen. Well, that got me $75, and I ended up getting caught for it, obviously, semi-obviously. So I had those charges, got in, got booked, fingerprints, all that. On late in May, my birthday, I caught possession of marijuana, possession of paraphernalia charges, and OWI. It was June 20th of 2004 that my girlfriend passed away. Well, in November of 2004, after Kimmy died, I moved to Kentucky with my family. We had a dog, a pit bull, and we raised him together. It was like our baby. So me and him moved to Kentucky, stayed with my parents. I was distraught. I was out doing whatever, running around trying to stay busy, trying to stay numb. And I guess my dog got out, was running around. I don't know if he was looking for me or what. He got hit by a car, and he was killed. I didn't know that. I knew he got out. I was out yelling for him, looking for him. He's like what I had left of the little somewhat family I had with Kimmy. So I'm distraught out there yelling for my mom's drive. I'm yelling out the window, looking everywhere. We pull back in the driveway, and I'm walking up to the house, and my dad was like, hey, I got to tell you something. And he told me that our dog, Dahmer, had been hit by a car, and he was killed. I collapsed. I fell to my knees in the gravel driveway and felt the lowest I've ever felt. The most pain, more pain than I could have imagined. And there's no words that can describe that. So, after that, I was back to, doing drugs, doing dumb things. And then I was like, God, why me? Why is this happening? What did I do wrong? Like, why am I still here to deal with all this? It's like, am I supposed to be here? Show me. So, early one day, started drinking, doing drugs, and decided to go for a ride. So, I had a 96 Ford Crown Victoria. It was maroon. It's kind of ugly, but that sucker, get it. So, I'm driving down this road. I didn't really know in Kentucky. So, the roads down there, they're windy. They're hilly. And I'm smashing the gas pedal. I'm flying around cars and just being reckless. I'm like, all right, God, I'm supposed to be here. Show me. Prove it. If you allow me to make it through this drive, I will take that as a sign that I'm supposed to be here. So I'm flying down this road. I come up over this crest, and then the road did a 90 to the right. I'm going 110 probably. Heart sank. Okay, this is it. Slammed the shifter down into first gear, just threw it down, stood on gas and brake at the same time, tensed up, both hands on the steering wheel. My car spun around backwards, and I thought it was going off the road into a field. Well, there was only a little bit of ground off of the road, and then there was a drop off. So I'm flying backwards down this hill, knocking down a bunch of little trees, waiting for that big one, and it never came. I ended up, the car slowed down because of the little trees, and I did hit like a concrete barrier for something. Either way, I walked away from it without a scratch. My car was jacked, and I had to be pulled out with the tractor. But I walked away from it. I didn't have a license, didn't have insurance. I was high, I'd been drinking, and cops showed up and all that. Didn't get any trouble. Got to leave the scene, luckily. Didn't catch charges. And that was probably August of 04. November of 04, I went to court for sentencing on the felony charges, second and third felony charges that I had received for theft and robbery. I thought that I was going to court to get put on probation, house arrest, something. I was like, all right, the judge knows I have my girlfriend, some things that went on, maybe he'll have some sympathy, and I'll get probation or house arrest. So I went there and was fully prepared to get put on probation or house arrest. Well, the judge was like, oh, I heard about what happened to your girlfriend. Your parents must be real disappointed. So that set a bad tone. And then he said, sentencing you to 15 months to the Indiana Department of Corrections. And I was like, what? Are probation, or is that what? He's like, no, you're going to the Indiana Department of Corrections for 15 months. My mom in the audience or whatever screamed or gasped. I was totally blindsided by that. And right then, I was put in handcuffs and sat down, and that began my path to going to prison at 19. Right after, not long after, I lost my girlfriend I'd been with for a year and a half. I loved that girl. We had our dog that we raised together. He's only a couple months when we got together, so that was our baby. We had a house, our own house, that we shared together. I mean, we had our own little family for being, teenager, about the 20 or whatever. And it was all ripped away. And then I ended up going to prison unexpectedly. And that was very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Not only did I go to prison and serve 7.5 months, but I had those felonies on my record for, I think it was 10 years or more. Now, thank God, I got some more trouble after that, possession charges, couple misdemeanors, no more felonies since then. But 3 years after the going to prison, the sentencing and all that, I filed to, or no, it was long after that. It was 3 years after my last charge. So 3 years after the last other trouble I got into. Anyways, I filed to get my felony reduced to a misdemeanor. And I was able to get that done. And then, however much later, I was like, oh wow, expungement. I learned of the expungements where you can get your record wiped one time in a lifetime. Obviously not serious felonies, but I was able to get my C felony reduced. Or that, I didn't get charged with that. I got the D felony. They wiped the C. I pled guilty to the D felony. I was sentenced on that. When I had my record, or the felony reduced, it was reduced from a Class D felony to an A misdemeanor. So when I went to get my expungement done, it wasn't a difficult process. I didn't have any worse charges than that D felony that had been reduced. Thank God I was able to get, finally, literally 10 years or more, not being able to get jobs, being a felon, an ex-con, ex-offender, just branded, plus the lifestyle I lived. But I really wanted to do better, so bad, and there was so much in my way because of those things I had been a part of when I was younger. But thank God I was able to get my record expunged, and that changed my life. And I have the life now that I do because of that. But the job I had while obtaining all this, I lost. And things have been going downhill since then. And I've been fighting to get it right. Hasn't been working. I'm going to keep on fighting. But I wanted to let you all know some of the background of me. Obviously, there's more to it. Oh, at 21, I started to go blind. A week after I turned 21, began my eye problems that I've been fighting ever since, so the last 20 years. But it caused me to have cataracts and glaucoma. I went partially blind in each eye at separate times. At one point, I was just blind because I couldn't see out of either eye. Had to have an eye drained and refilled with saline solution because my inner eye fluid was filled with blood, and it was a long, hard road. Extremely long, hard road. Especially those first 3 to 5 years were extremely difficult. But it's been rough. And there's been a lot of other stuff, in between all those things happening and afterwards and around those things. But I'm fighting. I'm going to keep going. I got held down by it for a long time. Depression, sad, and just wanting to be numb. And stayed that way at times for extended periods of time. But then I learned that I have a choice and that there are possibilities for me, even possibilities I'm not aware of or don't believe are actually possible for me. And I'm here to tell you, you have more opportunities available to you than you can imagine. And if you begin to believe that and start looking for a path and following it to get towards those opportunities you want to have, you will be amazed. Absolutely amazed by what happens. Not only, the opportunities, but all the other wonderful things that happen along the way when you're fighting towards those goals you have. Fighting for those opportunities, fighting for better, yearning for it, and believing it's on its way. I want to help people rise up, and I'm hearing this is what I'm trying to do. So if you're trying to rise up, let me know. What have you been through? What are you fighting through right now? Is there anything I can help with? I'd be happy to talk with you, or whatever. Please let me know. Let's do this together. I need support too. Let me know what's up.